Where's north from here?
Alright there, trainers. Now I have been neglecting my top 5 Pokemon of every type series, so it's time to get back into it. Let's waste no more time and jump in with my top 5 flying types. Starting at number 5 is Pikipek. Now for the last few generations I've not really cared for the regional birds, and Pheasant's design is just dire. I absolutely hate it, although I do like how the male and Pheasant has a crest to attract the females. That's pretty cool, I guess, but for the most part, nah, I didn't even bother touching it in Gen 5. Talonflame's cool, fair enough, it's, you know, the edgelord bird of Pokemon, and I did use one the first time I played Y, until my Charmeleon evolved into Charizard. I just didn't want 2 fire flying types, so that got boxed. And Toucannon looks brilliant. I love its concept, I love its design, but since we don't need a fly user in X and Y because HMs aren't a thing, I didn't feel inclined to use it. But I did catch and use Pikipek all the way through Melemele Island until I found something to replace it with not long after getting to Akala Island, and for Melemele, it was brilliant. It gets access to Rock Smash, which helped out with the Totem Pokemon, and of course, being a flying type, it was a great advantage over Hala's fighting type Pokemon. I absolutely love its design, it is completely and utterly adorable, and I have to say, it's my favourite first form of all the regional birds. The number 4 slot goes to Pelipper. I've always had a soft spot for Pelipper, and to a lesser extent Wingull. I just like their design and like the water flying typing. I think it's a really cool type. I would always get one on Emerald to use against Roxy and Brawly, and then after that I would always box it as soon as I got to Morval City because Watson just ruins it. But in Alpha Sapphire I caught a Wingull, I evolved it into Pelipper, and I used it all the way through to the Pokemon League, and I'm pretty sure I used it in my first match against Steven as well. Speaking of, I actually nicknamed it Steven, because Steven Seagal. Halfway at number 3 is Noctowl. Noctowl is brilliant, it's one of my favourite Johto Pokemon, and I just really like owls. And one thing that really blew my mind is how massive Noctowl actually is. It is 5'3". That is a big bird. I think it's a shame it's not a flying psychic type because it does learn a lot of psychic type moves, but that was Zotu's gimmick back in the days of Gen 2. It could work as a ghost type as well, I suppose. But hey, with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon round the corner, I've got my fingers crossed for a Alolan Noctowl. The number 2 and number 1 slots were really difficult to choose between, but the runner-up at number 2 is Dodrio. The first time I used a Dodrio was on the Virtual Console version of Yellow, which came out for the 20th anniversary. I'd always overlooked Dodrio for my teams in the past, but I wanted to use something I'd never used before, and the defining moment in my love for Dodrio was against the Fuchsia City gym leader Koga. He'd absolutely whitewashed my team, so I made a plan and rematched him, sending Dodrio out first because the previous time I'd saved it till last. And to my surprise and utter excitement, Dodrio swept his whole team single-handedly. Now bearing in mind, at this point, I was a good 15 levels weaker than his strongest Pokemon. I was really underleveled for this. But it took out his whole team, and even went as far as to survive a Psychic from his Venomoth, and one-shotted it with a critical hit. And from that moment on, I've had a lot of respect for this emotional ostrich. And the number 1 slot goes to Pidgeot. I can hear the hate comments and the complaints and the dislikes coming a mile away, but I grew up on Red and Blue, they were my first games, and Pidgey is literally one of the first Pokemon you can catch after getting your starter. When I was a little kid, Pidgeotto evolving into Pidgeot was the evolution I looked forward to the most after my starter, and I always made sure to fully evolve my Pidgeot after my starter had. It was just what I did. It was get Charizard, get Pidgeot, and that was me happy. I didn't care what else I had at the time. Pidgeotto was one of my personal favourite Pokemon that Ash owned, and when it finally evolved into Pidgeot, I was so excited for him to then release it and never return for it. And after Gen 2, Pidgeot didn't really get that much love. Especially with X and Y, because sure you could catch a Pidgey and you could use Pidgeot on your team, but most people opted for Talonflame instead. And Pidgeot kinda just got shunned aside. But then Oraz rolled around and it got a Mega Evolution and I was so happy. I haven't used a Pidgeot on my team for quite a while actually. I think I'll use it next time I play through X and Y. Or if it's available in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So those are my top 5 favourite flying types. Let me know if you agree with this list in the comment section and tell me who your favourite flying type Pokemon is. If you liked this video then hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos from me. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you can stay up to date with all my videos as and when they come out. I'll see you all next time, but until then keep training and have a good one. See you later.